Hello, once again from Atlantic Canada. Hello to all my American cousins. Ooh, got an itchy back. It's because I'm human. Anyway, this video I'm putting this video out. I'm looking for advice from experts, experts only, on lying, subject of lying. And I'm very specific. The experts I want to talk to in this video that I want feedback from are parents. Yes, parents. If you're a parent at one time or another during your time as a parent, you become an expert on lying. Did you know that? First of all, you know all about lying because all human beings lie. You start when you're young for whatever reason to keep from being punished, or usually that's the it wasn't me, it was him. It wasn't me, it was him kind of thing. Very, you know, childlike lying. That's um, easy to figure out. You know, we become experts over time in our own lives before we become parents about what lying is. You learn to lie. You learn to get good at it. Some of us, some not so much. But regardless, whether you're good at yourself, you usually become good at detecting it in others. Usually, as long as you're not, weak in the head and unable to discern whether somebody is lying to you or not, or because you want to believe them, even if your subconscious is telling you these, this person's probably lying. Anyway, as a parent, most of us, I think I am an expert in lying when it comes to having a child lie to me. I can tell by the look in their face. They haven't learned to become really proficient at lying as children, so it's a little easier for parents to pick up. But what if I told you that you, as a parent, an expert in your child lying to you, that there are certain characteristics that all liars have, whether they're good liars, educated liars, rehearsed liars. You have a team of lawyers behind you, or script writers, or speech writers who can tell you what to say. They have psychologists pointing things out to them that you may not want to say. Really, I would never lie, stuff like that. Stuff that we all basically know. You're not supposed to, it's easy to catch. But there are those that are, much more experienced, is what I'm trying to get at. A lot harder to discern. A lot harder to discern. But when push comes to shove, when someone is being questioned, especially in a congressional hearing, and the cameras are on them, that's a lot of pressure. You'd have to be a a really good liar in order to hide your lies. So, you fellow experts out there, parents of kids, okay? Parent Parents who were kids know all about what I just said, lying and how to lie and how to try to get away with something because you don't want to face the music, right? There's no difference between a child, you, the parent, an average person, and people in high places. The only difference is when people in high places lie, a lot of people might not. There's always a possibility, 50, let's say 50-50 chance. 50-50 chance. Flip the coin. Flip the coin to decide whether someone dies or lives. See, now as parents, that may not be a situation we have to be concerned with, with our children. Unless, of course, you're a gun nut and you talk about guns all the time and you let your 12-year-old have access to the guns you have so they can go and do unthinkable things at their local school. Then we have another problem to discuss. But I'm trying to reach, talk to the expert parents that aren't that kind of person that would allow their kids access to a gun. Okay. We're just talking about normal kids lying and normal parents catching kids in a lie and normal parents uh, getting experience over the years of getting better at determining whether the kid is lying or not when they do something wrong. And if I'm right, then you are what I say, you're an expert. I believe I've become an expert at catching people in lies. I observe, right? I look at it from a very unbiased with an unbiased attitude, right? I listen and I watch as I'm listening, and I educate myself about liars, professional liars. There's all kinds of information. Anyone who can read, or even if you can't read, if you can understand a language, English, whatever language you want to listen to it in, there's information on the internet that you can avail yourself of. And if you don't, to me, you're irresponsible. If you don't take advantage of all the free information that's out there, you can even talk to your phone now. Talk to your phone and ask it a question, and AI will answer the question for you. It'll go out and gather the information for you. So you could, even if you don't think you're an expert on catching someone in a lie, as I think most people, parents could, average person could, you can go and find out information about it. That's if you care, right? Maybe you don't care that in America right now, you have from the top down, I always include him because he's the guy that's pulling all the strings. He's making all the decisions. That's his personality. That's what he's like. That's his style. But it goes from him down, okay? So he knows what's going on. He'll lie to you people. He does it every day. And he's picked a bunch of people below him that he feels comfortable with. And if you're a liar and a cheater and a criminal and you have criminal intent, if you're a person who rips off people, rips off blue collar workers like me, right? Companies that hire blue collar workers, he has no scruples. He fucks around on his wives. Look, I'm not going to go through all this. The information is there. If you don't want to believe it, then I can't, obviously I can't reach you. If you watch any of the stuff that's on TV now, on YouTube, whatever, unless it's on Fox, if you believe what's on Fox, well, you're screwed. There's nothing I or anyone else could ever do to change your mind. But if you're honest with yourself, think about it from a parent's point of view. Be objective and listen to these people when they're talking, when they're asked a question. Even though the person asking the question, you're a Republican and the person asking the question is a Democrat, and you're not going to believe anything that the Democrat says. You don't have to. You can think every Democrat is out to get you and the only way to go is Republic. I understand. If you're that convinced, there's nothing I can say. All I'm asking you to do is be objective. Close your eyes and don't look at the Democrat. Don't look at his face. Just listen to the question and then listen to the answers. I'll give you an example. And the example I'm going to give you, I'm talking to my daughter. She's not a child anymore, but honey, I just got a phone call from the neighbors. You were supposed to be babysitting their 4 children. You were in charge of the home, their home, the safety of their kids in the home. They trusted you to do that, right? And they paid you for it, right? Hmm. Well, why is it that you broke within a half an hour of them leaving the home? Did you break their trust and allow a boy, a stranger, as far as there might not have been a stranger to you, but you were given you know they given the trust of minding their precious children and their home, and you allowed a boy, unbeknownst to them, to come into their home, not your home, their. Okay, you can imagine the response I got from my daughter. I'm not going to bore you with a long story about. You all know. You can all imagine. All you parents out there can imagine. Okay, and if your kid responded to you with, I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to think about it for a little while before I could answer. I'm not sure if all the facts are in yet. I'll have to, you know, basically that's the response that these people on that committee, or not committee, but that were being grilled by the Democratic Party, in that hearing. You could tell come on. You could tell they're lying. You're scared effing shitless. Actually, the guy who was most afraid, I laughed out loud when I heard his response. That the leader of the FBI, your new FBI director, his eyes were like this, waiting for them to ask. And as soon as they asked, it didn't take them 5 seconds to throw every one of them under the bus. I didn't have anything to do with it. I wasn't part of that conversation. What are you talking about? The rats are jumping ship. And he's in charge of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. If you're not sure what they're responsible for, and I can't believe you wouldn't, but if you're not, like I said, all the information is out there. All you got to do is do a Google search. I'm sure anyone knows how to use Google. And if you don't, ask your 8-year-old. Okay. Anyway, think about that. Comment below. Now, in one of my other videos right from the beginning, I said I don't care if you subscribe. I don't care if you click on a like or dislike or leave comments. Well, I've changed my mind. I would like you to subscribe. Subscribing doesn't mean that you agree with what I'm saying. Subscribing basically, well, it basically helps me to push out the message that I'm trying to put out, which is reasonableness. I want you to be reasonable out there in the world. And I want to give you perspective. I keep saying this in every video. I don't have any political affiliation. I'm not part of any political party. I'm just a person with the power of the vote, which makes me the man, makes you the man, makes you the woman. You don't understand that. I know a lot of you, but the vote is what gives you the power. You decide as a group who gets to represent you, right? And sometimes when we make a decision like a vote, thinking that it's going to, be the right choice, sometimes, like in everything in life, we'll make a choice and we realize almost immediately we made the wrong choice. That's the time to make yourself known. You want to be strong. You want to be brave. Admit that you made a mistake and do something about it. Anyway, that's enough preaching. Subscribe if you like. Don't subscribe if you don't like. I hope you do. Like it. I don't, and please comment. Please come at me. Come after me. You know what I mean? Tell me what you think. This is a great place to do it. You get to talk to someone and, across the border who doesn't hate you for being American. I don't even hate mega people. I feel sorry for you. I do. And I don't mean sorry for, I think you're stupid or whatever, but I do think you made the wrong choice. and I know that a lot of you are starting to realize that. So come on down and, use this as a venue. You can, like I said, you can say whatever you like in the comments. All right. But, you know, be objective, use some intelligence when you're calling me an asshole. Give me the reason why you think I'm an asshole. I don't mind being called an asshole, but I don't call me something good or bad and then not give me some reason for it. That's only fair, don't you think? And I promise to respond the same way. If I think you're an asshole, I'll tell you. All right. Anyway, take care. Have a good evening. See you next time.